Hey guys, this is a follow-up video to the last video I did talking about the print that failed for the top of my computer. So, talking about the print that failed for the top of my computer that was in my last video. If you didn't see that video, go to the link, which is right here. Basically what happened when they were wrapping the filament at the factory, it got crossed over itself, like I've done here, and it will only unwrap to a certain point, and then it gets stuck, and it won't unwrap anymore. And I was actually filming at the time, so I have video of this, which I will stick in right here. So as you saw in that video, the force was so great that it was actually pulling the spool over, and when it was printing, it actually started printing like over here in this area for the front because it couldn't move out far enough. So you might be asking yourself, how do I stop this from happening? I figured out a couple of tricks for that. One is when you have your spool, and this only works for shorter prints, it's not great for longer ones, but you can kind of push it back like you're unwinding it, and see how it starts to unwind like that, and you have a bunch of loose material. A spool that is wrapped incorrectly will not do that. Like if you look at this one, again I picked a horrible color to do this with, because it's black on black, you can't even see that. Alright, so a spool that is not wrapped correctly, I'm going to wrap this one incorrectly real quick. So you see how that is crossed underneath, and it'll only feed so far until it gets stuck. So what you can do here is this one, since it is wrapped, it won't push back at all. And if it like unwraps a little bit like this other one did and then stops, that's a clue that you have a wrapping problem, and you can kind of unwrap your spool a little bit to that point and then fix it. Another thing I've started doing is I'm no longer using the Dremel filament for the Ideabuilder. I mean, I'm using up what I have, but I'm not buying any new ones because the only times that I've had this problem is with the Dremel filament. I've had 4 brands total, one of them being Dremel, and none of the other 3 have had this problem. Also, something that you want to look out for, if that does happen and the printer continues to move for a while, you want to check the rest of your spool, because the tension of the motors in the printer actually pulls and takes it, and it keeps pulling and pulling, so it wraps the roll tighter and tighter and tighter. And that can cause problems later on in the process. I actually had one that, it was actually this one when that print failed. It was wrapped so tight and it had pulled so hard that it actually stretched the filament out. So it caused a clog later on in the printing process. because it was wrapped so tight and so stretched out that it didn't fit through the nozzle of my printer properly. Also, if you're interested in those giant spools of filament that I'm using, head on over to acesdeals.biz. I don't get anything if you guys buy anything from them. I just think they're a really cool company, and I bought drones and actually got my 3D printer, my drone, and the new filament that I'm using from them. Also, we've started to print lots of Pokemon and Pokeballs that aren't quite assembled yet, and lots of other 3D printed items. So if you guys are interested in any of that, checking out our store, that is redhairprints.com. I'll also have that linked in the video description. Any money that goes through that we make off of that goes back into 3D printing and us being able to bring get another 3D printer or do things like that to do more reviews on. So that really helps us out. Thanks for watching.